All right, well, we want to talk about the IRA LLC because this is a strategy a lot of self-directed investors use. It's a cool strategy. I even use it myself. Mark's used it. This is a strategy we use ourselves. A lot of our clients use it, particularly real estate clients.
We have a helpline at directedira.com, and there's a live chat. You just call up and go, I'm sending the money over. How in the heck do I open this account and get the money there? Which is 2 steps. Open the account and get the money there.
Welcome, everyone, to the Directed IRA podcast with Matt Sorensen and Mark Kohler. Excited to be with you talking about one of the best strategies out there, the IRA LLC structure, and how you document it and make that thing work.
Man, I thought you were going to talk about some fan book play for the NFL weekend, but no, we're not. No strategy there.
No strategy there.
You're
I know nothing
to the wrong
there.
podcast.
I know nothing there. It's totally worthless information.
For your fantasy football players, this is not it. So, but if you want to make a bunch of money so that you can go to more NFL games and relax on Sundays, we got your answers right here.
Yeah, in retirement, you could just be sitting there watching the NFL, in your box, just, living out that retirement you love. All right, well, we want to talk about the IRA LLC because this is a strategy a lot of self-directed investors use. It's a cool strategy. I even use it myself. Mark's used it. This is a strategy we use ourselves. A lot of our clients use it, particularly real estate clients.
Okay, can I give a general one?
Yes.
For anybody out there, you have an old 401k that's been kicked down to an IRA. An IRA that's just languishing somewhere in a Charles Schwab account, or Fidelity, whatever. The Checkbook IRA LLC is a series of steps you can take to get that IRA into an LLC of which you control the checkbook, and you can get bigger and better rates of return in investing in what you know best. The end.
There you go.
Like that?
Yeah. Yeah, and we got to start out with what the heck's a self-directed IRA? Because a lot of people are like, wait, your IRA can own real estate? I can buy private companies or do private money lending?
How do I get to the promised land?
I've never even heard of this. Yes, it's true. You can do that, but it's going to take a self-directed IRA. Okay, that's the step number one. We're going to talk about an LLC second, but you have to have a self-directed IRA first. Now,
when Charles Schwab won't let me do that?
Schwab won't let you do it. They'll let you have a self-directed IRA to pick stocks. That's the self-directing.
At their website.
Yeah. It's like, as long as you stay in what we sell, it's self-directed. But a truly self-directed IRA is an IRA that can invest in LLCs, real estate, private companies, funds, crypto, all this stuff. These are assets your IRA can own. So what you're doing when you set up a self-directed IRA is you're going to move your IRA from a custodian that's like a brokerage IRA where they let you buy stocks to a custodian that lets you invest in any assets allowed by law. That's what we do at our company, Directed IRA. So you'd move a portion of that account or the whole thing over to the self-directed IRA account. Now this could be a Roth IRA, a traditional IRA, a SEP IRA.
I wanted to say that. Okay. I was going to say, but it gets better. I've got a self-directed HSA checkbook.
There you go.
I've got a self-directed Roth checkbook. And I think you've got a self-directed 401k checkbook.
Yep.
So any of these tax-deferred accounts can be transitioned to a self-directed format that then opens an LLC, which we're going to come to. All these, we're going to unpack this.
And you don't have to do the LLC when you're self-directed. You might be like, well, I'm just going to invest in a private company or do a long-term note. I don't need an LLC and all that stuff. You can do that. That's a lot of self-directed investors. But there's a lot of people who like to self-direct and buy real estate or make all other alternative asset investments where they want an LLC. They want to be in a little more control. So that's going to take setting up an LLC, which we're going to explain how that LLC is set up, how the documents are different than a regular LLC, because it's a unique type of LLC called an IRA LLC, which we set up all day long in our law firm, KQS Lawyers.
All right, so step 2. I've got my self-directed account.
Okay.
By the way, get to directedira.com. We'll take care of you.
All right. Okay. Now, step 2 is you got to get the money over. So you got to transfer the funds over from your Schwab IRA or Fidelity or your local bank or credit union IRA.
Make a new contribution this year at the same time.
Make a new contribution,
So transfer money.
You got to fund it. You got to fund the account. So now you got money in the IRA at Directed IRA.
Okay. Transfer money to the new. I'm writing all these down because I'm going to summarize them at the end of the show. So all of you are going to just love it. Transfer the money to the new self-directed account. Again, which could be Roth, traditional 401k.
Yeah, any of those account types, and there's no penalty or tax. You're just changing the custodian of the IRA. And you can have multiple IRAs. So you're like, I'm moving from Schwab to Fidelity, or I'm going from Fidelity to Vanguard. I'm going from Vanguard to Directed IRA. Okay, there's no penalty or anything from the IRS. You can move the account around. There's no distribution. This is a transfer of the account.
Now, I'm going to be transparent here. Even me, myself, even I was trying to combine both of those, get a little confused. Like, what's that next step? I literally last week called Kyle and I was like, Kyle, I need to move my IRA over. What form do I use again? Because it can be a little complicated. You got to go over to, the right form at Fidelity versus the right form at Directed. Here's the beauty of this. I was able to call Kyle. You can call the equivalent of Kyle. We have a helpline at directedira.com, and there's a live chat. You just call up and go, I'm sending the money over. How in the heck do I open this account and get the money there? Which is 2 steps. Open the account and get the money there. They'll walk you through the whole thing. Brian is a genius. He fills out the damn forms with you on the phone.
Yeah, our team will do that for you.
Yeah.
So just call up our team. Get over to directedira.com. You can contact them, schedule an appointment if you need to. Call right up if it's during the day. And you're there,
Can they call Tristan?
Hours. No, Tristan.
No, Tristan, our studio director. No. He's in the studio. Okay.
Don't call Tristan. He might know, but that's not his job.
Okay. All right. Tristan's over here in the studio going, I'm too busy. Okay. All right. So I transfer the money.
All right.
What's next?
Now you want to start setting up the LLC.
Oh, sounds like a law firm call.
Yeah, sounds like a call. You're going to talk to KKOS Lawyers. That's our law firm. We've been setting up these IRA LLCs for 20 years now.
But I can go to LegalZoom, can I?
No, you're not going to go to LegalZoom because this type of LLC is a unique LLC. It's called an IRA LLC, and whether you're using it at Directed IRA or using it at any other self-directed IRA custodian that allows for this IRA LLC structure, they're going to have a compliance checklist of what needs to be in the LLC documents. And if you go set up the LLC on your own or use some other documents you've done with your personal LLCs before, or your friend that's a lawyer that does regular LLCs, or you're set up at LegalZoom, that LLC is not going to work. I'm just telling you, I made a career of fixing LLCs for self-directed IRA clients that tried to do it themselves and got jacked up and their money didn't get funded. Okay, and now they got to pay all over again and start over to use us. So you might as well just start with a lawyer that knows how to do these from the get-go.
I love it. Several reasons why. One is you're probably on a time constraint. Many people that are bringing money over, they're like, ooh, I've got a closing. Yeah. I've made an offer on a property. I got to get this property on a contract. Oh, there's a note I'm doing. There's a small business down the street. And so the last thing you want is a hang up because you're trying to cut corners using a non-reputable firm or an online service, blah, blah, blah.
And let me rattle off some things of what you need to do with this LLC, and I'm just going to give you some of the details.
Oh, but I can say one more thing.
Yeah.
The next thing of why using the law firm or ours is you're going to get a consult.
Exactly.
Oh, you're going to go there? Okay.
No, but keep going.
Because you don't know what you don't know. Yeah, you don't know what you don't know. So it's not that you're just paying for the docs. You're paying for the coach, and that coach is going to go, okay, here's your LLC. And we give you a comfort letter of here's the things you do, here's the things you don't. And you're like, well, I listened to Mark about his podcast. What do I? And so all those questions get answered. We will not just do an IRA LLC without talking to you because we know you need this call. Now, if you need an LLC for a rental property in Tennessee, got it. Paralegals can help you do that. But when you open this can of worms, please talk to a lawyer.
Our fee includes talking to a lawyer for an hour. So get your money's worth out of it and use that time. And you're going to get into the actual transaction you're planning to do. Go over that. Talk about what you want to do. Maybe that's part of the consultation. So it's very specific to your situation and what you're trying to do.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Now let me get into the documents though, because this is important. I want to hit a couple things. One, you're going to need to have articles of organization for the LLC, and these must be manager managed. If you send over a member managed IRA LLC, it's going to get rejected here or any other IRA custodian. It's got to be a manager-managed LLC. The second thing you're going to have is an operating agreement. This operating agreement is not a regular LLC operating agreement. There's about 10 different sections in an IRA LLC operating agreement from a regular operating agreement. Let me give you an example. You're going to need to say in the operating agreement, the company can't engage in any prohibited transactions. There's a whole principle and rules over what are called prohibited transactions that's going to restrict the LLC, which your IRA owns, but it's going to restrict that LLC from doing transactions with you.
Yeah. Can't buy you lunch.
It's also going to have a section in the manager section that says if you're the manager of the IRA LLC, which a lot of times you're going to be the manager of the LLC.
Which is okay.
Lets you sign for the LLC. You're going to have access to the LLC bank checking account. It puts you in this quote-unquote checkbook control position, which is great because you're able to do your transactions easily. But it's going to say if you're the manager, you can't pay yourself a salary. Okay, and there's a case of a guy that was paying himself a salary from his IRA LLC. He got audited and he lost. Okay, they distributed his whole retirement account. So there's going to be restrictions in there, things like that, that need to be in the LLC documents. And our office, Directed IRA, as well as other IRA custodians that allow for these, are going to have a checklist. They're going to look at the documents. If it doesn't have this, they're going to reject it. So make sure you're getting it done by a lawyer who knows what the heck they're doing.
I love it. Can I throw out number 5?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 5 is I really think, and we really try to talk to our clients about this when we're setting up the LLC, is we want to ask, what's your plan? Have a plan. We don't want you to just set up this LLC and have the money just languish there, not doing anything. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to get frustrated with us, the custodian, everybody. You're going to think this is a great thing, but why did I do this? Have the why figured out in advance.
Yeah.
What is it you want to invest in? Is it your brother's landscaping business? Is it loaning your sister money to do a rental property rehab? Is it a syndication? They're doing a big apartment building. You want to put your IRA in that instead? There's so many things you can invest in. Please go do our prior podcasts on this. But have a plan.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of ways. Just be strategic about it too. Like you might be like, well, I already know what I'm doing. I need to get the money over there. Let's go. Let's run. I want to get the whole thing funded and get it going. Some of you might be like, well, I'm looking for properties. I don't know what I'm buying, but I know I want to buy a rental, or I know I want to buy a property to flip. Or I know I'm going to lend money to another real estate investor. I just don't have the deal yet. Well, let's get the structure going. Get the IRA going, get the LLCs going, and maybe send over $5,000. You don't have to send the whole account, but let's get the structure going so that if you see a deal tomorrow that you want to jump on, you've got it all set up. You don't have to go set up the IRA, get the transfer going, get the LLC going, get your consult. Like you're going to be, racing. So let's get it going and maybe just get $5,000 there. Now it's all set up and ready to go. You can get the property under contract, pay the earnest money, maybe use that $5,000 for that, and then move over the rest of the money as closing timelines are done. You have all the work done. Now it's just transferring money around. It's pretty easy because it's all set up and structured.
Love it. And now on this have your why is the enemy to having your why is analysis paralysis. You just get into this, well, I can't find the perfect deal, so you don't take action at all. Try to understand the general area you're going, start taking steps, and a lot of times the universe is going to open up to you and you're going to find that perfect deal. But don't be, again, shotgun approach. I'm just going to do it and hope it works out. Start to fine tune the areas you want to invest in, the sector you want to invest in, the type of investments you want to do. Start the process, and if you build it, they will come. Mm-hmm. They will. But have a plan, but don't. The converse is just going to paralysis.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, a couple of tips on this. You're going to have a separate bank account for this. So the LLC is going to have its own business checking account.
Can we go there? So once the LLC is set up, that'd be number 6.
Set up your LLC business checking account.
Okay, keep going.
Okay. Now, we use Titan Bank. You can use whoever you want that knows what the heck these are. It's just a regular LLC business checking account. There's nothing unique about it, but you need to keep this separate. You don't put money in this LLC checking account. You don't own it. You don't take money from this LLC checking account. You don't own it. Your IRA does. So we're going to send a wire or write a check to the LLC that's going to get deposited into this LLC business checking account from your IRA. And if you ever want to take money from the LLC, you can't just write yourself a check. It's got to go back to your IRA, and then you take a distribution from your IRA. So that business checking account is going to be, it's still sacred IRA funds, okay? You can't touch it. Don't drop personal money into this thing, all right? We're keeping this separate to make sure we're keeping it clean for privileged transactional purposes, and make sure you're processing money back through the IRA as stuff's going in and out.
Now, I want to unpack what you just said, and I think we have 3 steps in that statement you made. Number 6 would be set up the bank account, and we could talk about that a little bit more too for a moment. Number 7 is then pay bills and make investments from that account.
Right.
And learn to respect that.
And receive the income from like it's a rental or the interest on a note, the gain.
And then I'm going to say report properly your transactions. You may be just simply giving a report to your custodian at the end of the year. We're going to probably touch on multiple members here. So you could have a tax return due, even if you're not paying taxes. You got to report properly. And then number 9, when you take profit, it's going to go back to the IRA.
Right.
So I mean, there's 3 or 4 steps there. I just wanted to kind of lay out.
Let's hit on the report, because it's pretty simple if you have the most common IRA LLC, which is your IRA owns the LLC 100%. That is the most common structure for the IRA LLC. We have more of those than any other type of IRA LLC structure. And in that, it's called a single member LLC. There's no tax return to the IRS. Now, you do need to keep the LLC active with whatever state you're in. And some states might, like California, will have a franchise tax. Even Texas, will have a little franchise tax form you got to fill and pay the fee. Most states are going to have an annual fee, $50, $100. But you need to keep the LLC active. There's nothing going to the IRS, though, if it's just your IRA owning an LLC 100%. Now, you do need to let your custodian know what the value is at the end of the year. But you don't need to report all your transactions. No. We don't want all that. No. I just want we have a worksheet you fill out. It's just a form that says, hey, the LLC has a bank account at the end of the year, 50 grand. It has a property worth 100. The LLC is worth 150 grand. And you can just use a Zillow estimate. You don't need to go to appraisals and just, go run off your bank statement for what's in the checking account. So, and we update your value of that every year on your account. So you have an updated account value of what the LLC is worth.
I love it. And I've kind of created 10 things you need to know, and I'll rehearse these here, or repeat them here at the end. But I want to, on number 8, report properly. I also want to add to that same line, report properly and stay informed. Stay educated. This is not what do you say? Just
set it and forget it.
Set it and forget it. This
like
is not
the Ronco food dehydrator.
Yeah, which I love those. Those are really nice. I love
beef jerky, some dehydrated fruit.
Yeah, I love that.
Set it and forget it.
I love those. This is not one of those because you are really the beauty. Okay, this is, again, the yin and the yang. The beauty of the self-directed IRA LLC, checkbook LLC, is you have complete control. You can invest in whatever the freak you want. There's only few things, and this is where you learn these prohibited transactions by staying informed. But you can invest in so many different things and get a better rate of return than Wall Street. The converse is you're playing with a loaded gun. You are the carrier. And you've got to understand the rules. You got to be safe, and make sure you follow procedures.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It's not hard, but listening to this podcast is required.
Yeah.
You just got to stay on this podcast every week because we will keep you up to date.
Yeah. And I got the #1 book, the Self-Directed IRA Handbook, out there in the field that you can read up on that. But also remember, there's a consult with a lawyer in the process that you're paying for. The IRA LLC costs $1,000. If you're using directed IRA, it's $1,000. That's what our law firm charges. That's going to include a call with a lawyer, who, by the way, our lawyers are $500 an hour anyways. So that's included in the cost of setting this up. We're going to go through what you're planning to do, make sure what you're planning to do is compliant, and you know how to follow the rules.
It blows my mind too. There are so many yahoos out there that are not law firms charging far more than $1,000.
$2,500. I see.
For a regular LLC, let alone a self-directed IRA LLC. So don't be sticker price shocked at all. You really should be grateful and excited because we're trying to build a long-term relationship. We want to create a journey with you. When you get here, you're going to be like, wow, you guys know S-Corps too? Oh, I can do some tax strategy planning. I'm paying my kids and a board of directors. And we just open up this whole other world. This is just one area of your trifecta. And let's look at the big picture. And that's what the lawyers are going to do. They're going to ask you, oh, by the way, who's the beneficiary of your IRA? My 16-year-old. Let's look at a trust. you know. So, I mean, there's just so much here to unpack.
Yeah, love that. Okay, now you brought up a multi-member IRA LLC. Let's say you have an IRA and your spouse has an IRA. Or you've got an IRA and a friend's got an IRA, or a couple of them. And you're like, let's partner into one LLC together to go buy a bigger property that we couldn't buy on our own. You can do that. Okay, you're going to set up what's called a multi-member IRA LLC, and we're going to break up the ownership in the LLC based on the dollars invested. So if Mark and I's IRAs went into an LLC, and Mark's IRA put 60 grand in, and my IRA put 40 grand in, we're going to be 60-40 in the LLC.
Ooh, I like that, 60-40.
I know, I gave you the more.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. But you had to put money in for it.
Oh, damn.
Okay, it cost you.
and we're going to be co-managers.
Yeah, we can be co-managers. Yeah, co-managers.
Yep.
But I'm manager #1 though.
Okay, #1.
Okay, but you can have a multi-member IRA LLC like that, and we can partner them in. Now, the benefit, of course, is, and we've got separate videos and podcast episodes on this, but I just want to give a quick overview of this. The benefit is we got to put multiple accounts into one LLC that gives us more purchasing power. The downside is, and Mark mentioned this earlier, tax return. Now there's a partnership tax return. There's no tax due here on this return, but you got to file it to the IRS saying this is what the company made, and this is the share of profits for this IRA and the share of profits for that IRA.
Yeah, and again, there's a converse to that. Yeah, it may be cumbersome having a partnership tax return at the end of the year, but guess what? Individuals can be a partner in that LLC too. So my IRA might partner with Matt's IRA, and Tristan's like, I'll throw in some cash. He's like, my IRA is already deployed, but I'll put in personal cash. Oh, now we're a third. 34% for me, 33. And so that could be a really good fit, you know. Notice how I did that? It was very slight.
Yeah,
okay.
I caught that. You got that. I was paying attention.
Oh, yeah. I want to go back to number 6.
Not giving up my 0.336% like so easily.
Every little bit counts. All right. Okay. I want to go back to number 6, setting up the bank account. I want to talk about that a little bit more because this can be a frustrating experience. And we just quickly said Titan Bank. Let's explain why. I've had the same experience. I set up my IRA LLC, single member. I've done this with a single member LLC. I walk into Wells Fargo. I even know the manager of the bank. And I walk in and go, here's my articles, here's my EIN, here's an operating agreement. Give me my bank account, please. Fast track it, please. Just give me a freaking bank account. I don't need checks in duplicate, a book. I don't need the whole speech and all the little pamphlets. Just give me a freaking bank account. And so I'm trying to fast track this 19-year-old that 2 weeks ago just graduated from high school. And he's like, soon as they see that the owner of the LLC is really an IRA, their brain explodes. They push a button under the desk and go, rip, rip. And they want to call Chicago. They call their manager over. What do I do? Now, I've been able to talk the manager of the bank off the cliff and be like, it's an IRA LLC. I am the owner of the IRA or the beneficial owner of the IRA. I can sign on his behalf. Just open the freaking bank account. But even the best intended manager is going to want to call someone at corporate, and then they're like, well, give me the operating agreement. I'll call you tomorrow. And you're like, holy crap. Now I got to make another appointment at the bank, and blah, blah, and just, it can explode. Now, sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it's not. We formed a relationship with an online bank, Titan Bank, because they know us. They know the docs. They know what you're trying to do. And so if you go with an online route, that's why we've suggested Titan Bank. You don't have to use them. Your banker, maybe, little credit union might just sign whatever the hell you want. But just know that opening the bank account can be frustrating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, that's why we like working with banks to understand what they are. Because then it's like, they target and they want self-directed IRA clients. Like they understand the strategy themselves as a bank and they want those types of customers. It just makes it easy for you because they can speak the language and not throw you curveballs. Because even we've had relationships with larger banks that know the IRA LLC and we get a little team trained over there and then that person leaves and goes to another bank. And I'm starting all over with training someone else at big bank how to do these things. And we were like, let's just get a cool bank.
You mean that 19-year-old doesn't stay there for their whole career?
No, they don't. They go from bank to bank or they, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay, can I do one more?
All right, yeah.
May I? Just one more comment.
You want to round out? Are we at 10 or are we going to 11?
Yeah, we're all 10.
Okay.
And I'll summarize them here in one more minute. But I did want to say one other thing. To take the profit back to your IRA. That was we made a quick statement there. I want to just unpack that. Let's say your IRA LLC makes 10 grand, makes 50 grand. Maybe it was a real estate deal, it was a note, it was a syndication. You invested in your sister's cupcake shop and she had profit and you get 20% of the profit. Great. That money goes back to the IRA LLC. And that's where the profit is collected. You have choices. You can say, oh, I'm going to redeploy this. I'm going to go invest in something else. There's no tax 90% of the time. Again, you're going to learn some of the rules of what you might invest in. But you're going to sit there with that money in the IRA LLC and the world is your oyster. Then you may say, I want to send some of that money back to my IRA because I want to convert it to a Roth, or I want to roll it into an IRA and do something else with it. Or I'm 60 years old. I'd like to kick that back to my IRA and take a few grand and go buy a new set of golf clubs. All right. Do not write yourself a check. You're the manager of the LLC. But if you want profit, it's got to go back to the owner of the LLC, which is the IRA. Call up directed IRA. Hey, I'm going to send you money. Be on the lookout. And then on day 2, they call you back. The money's here. And then on day 3, send it over. I'm going down to the golf store. I'm going to buy me that new set of pings. All right. Got to follow the steps.
Yeah. And you were 59 and a half by then, being able to draw that money out. So, because remember, this is building long-term wealth.
Trying to get a dig in there?
No, I was saying in the person in your example.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm in my 50s, so I just wondered if you're
sensitive. Sensitive.
Watch that.
Yeah.
I do want the Denny's early bird, but
and the senior discount for the movie tickets and all the perks.
Oh, I can't wait. Okay.
All right. So that's good.
So you're 59 and a half.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. So remember what I'm saying is this long-term wealth. We're talking about using the IRA LLC, and you might have money just sitting in the LLC bank account. You sell a property, a deal comes back, and you're ready to deploy it in the next one. That's okay. Okay, that's okay. Don't be pulling this money out though. Okay, we're building this for long-term wealth. Again, you can draw on it when you're 59 and a half without penalty. That's the age. But the self-directed IRA and using the IRA-LLC structure, we're talking about long-term wealth building. But the LLC is giving you this access to the capital. It's putting you in a control position. Now, rather than calling your IRA custodian and be like, hey, I want to buy this property and you got to send us the documents and we got to approve it, we got to sign it, we got to wire the money, the income comes in, you got to check with us, did you get it? You know, it's simpler here. You get the LLC, you're in a control position. You can send the money. You can sign on behalf of the LLC. You still got to follow the rules. Like Mark said, you got to take gun safety class. Okay, we're giving you a loaded gun, so you got to make sure you're following the rules. And that's what this podcast is. That's what our Self-Directed IRA Summit is, by the way, coming up on October 20th and 21st. This might be one day after the podcast drops. But if you missed it, it will be recorded, strasummit.com. But then we got all of our webinars, this podcast that's got all this content here on how to learn to take control of your retirement. You can do that by self-directing.
And please, I'll say this because Matt is not as shameful as me. Shameless, shameful. A plug is just go buy his book. Damn it. If you're going to self-direct at all or even interested in it, this is one that should be on your desk as a resource and a handbook. It is for me. I open Matt's book all the time. It's called the Self-Directed IRA Handbook. It is in the second edition. It's the bestseller in this space.
Yeah.
So you can get it over at Amazon.
Yeah, Mark, he doesn't have to take Ambien anymore. He just opens up the Self-Directed IRA Handbook at night and out like a light.
Ambien. We're throwing down prescription drugs right now. Okay, we won't talk about your prescription drugs, okay? You know,
they're just
that's a bridge too far.
They're just perperformance-enhancing drugs. They're okay.
I don't
Are
need
those restricted?
No, I don't need performance enhancing. I just need, yes. So Matt's book is my Ambien. Okay, fair enough. Unbelievable. I got to write a stern letter
to the. That was a dig at myself too. I was making fun of my own book.
Okay,
I
thought it was a little, passive aggressive. I really did. I got to write a stern letter to the producer of the podcast.
A very stern letter. Are you going to put it on letterhead? Your lawyer letterhead.
But you are the producer,
KQS
damn it.
Lawyer's letterhead.
I'm going to send you a stern letter. Okay. I'll see you in court. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, here's the 10. I'm going to read these quickly back for all of you that are maybe doing some note taking. You're not driving down the road or on a treadmill. Be safe. Number 1, you must have a self-directed IRA account. And again, that could be, you must have a self-directed account. Could be 401k, HSA, Roth, IRA. Number 2, you're going to transfer the money from your old account or the prior non-self-directed account, and maybe even do some new contributions. I want to put that in there, or contributions or contributions. Number 3, have your why. Be in the process of this as understanding what are you going to do with this. Let's not go down this path with at least not knowing our general direction, but also don't get into analysis paralysis. Number 4, call a lawyer. Now, we would hope that you would choose KQS lawyers. We have a very, very close relationship with Directed IRA where you get a discount, you get a consult with a lawyer, have a conversation.
Yeah, we've been doing those for a decade plus. We know what the heck we're doing.
Yep. Number 5, understand the LLC provisions. Make sure the articles are filed, manager managed. Ask your lawyer questions. Understand the prohibited transactions. Make yourself the manager so that when you walk in to go to step 6 and open up the bank account, you understand your package of documents. Even if you're using Titan Online, you want to understand and be the captain of your ship of what you're doing. Number 7, make sure you use the LLC properly. Paying the bills out of the LLC, making the investment directly out of the LLC, not paying for stuff of your own or whatever, and prohibited transactions. Make the investment and collect the proceeds from your investment into the LLC. Number 8, report properly and stay informed. This podcast alone would be incredible. Once a month is our webinar. Twice a year is our conference. It's recorded. It doesn't take much. Just an hour a week, and you're going to be making millions in the long run. Number 9, be aware that the multi-member LLC can also be a checkbook IRA LLC. So you could have multiple partners. It's going to require a little bit of different reporting, but you're also getting the leverage of building more capital into an LLC. A lot of people have that. And then number 10, when you're ready, you can take profit out of the IRA LLC by simply writing a check back to the IRA. Don't you start thinking you can play, judge and jury, writing yourself profit when you want it. You got to go back to the IRA, one extra step, and then take the money and run. There you go. 10 things to know when you use a checkbook IRA LLC.
All right. Well, that's a wrap, guys. Thanks for listening. Remember, we've got tons of other resources, as we mentioned throughout the podcast, to learn how to self-direct your IRA. Make sure you get to directedira.com. You can open an account there if you're like brand new to this. You can open your account right there online or book a call with one of our account reps too to figure out if this is the right fit for you. And we're going to be back, of course, next week with another amazing episode of the Directed IRA podcast. Until then, stay calm and self-direct on.